nerds, and welcome to The Gutter. My name is Steven. This is the 8th episode of the 2nd season of The Gutter podcast. Joining me today, Twitch streamer Racy Rogue. I almost said your old name. Yeah. Racy Rogue. This is Lauren. And Twitch streamer Corporate Cal.
Hello.
That's Calvin.
That's me. Hello.
How's it going, guys? What's new?
You keep changing the camera setup on us online.
Well, yeah, I have to figure out the best way to make it work, and every single week is a brand new setup as I try to figure out how to make it work. So, what you been playing? Cal, what you been playing?
You know, I've been needing to be streaming some more League, but I finally am streaming League. I'm finally playing it again, and I'm back in gold.
You're back in gold!
I am. I'm no longer wet trash. I'm just dry heaps of trash. So we're trying to get, to become the bag and not just be in the heaping mounds of trash.
Oh, so you're trying to go from trash to trash bag.
Right now, it was wet trash.
Oh, okay.
We were wet trash.
So you're drying out the trash.
Now we're dry trash. And then we're going to be dry trash in a bag. And then we're going to be carrying that trash bag.
I feel like there's a hefty joke somewhere in there. Like a hefty
bag.
Like
yeah. Being a hefty trash bag.
Is there?
No.
Can you carry a lot of trash?
I can.
Well, then you're hefty.
I mean, thank you. That's a compliment, right?
That is a compliment.
Perfect.
When's the season end for all this time? This League of Legends is a MOBA.
It's a long season. It's like a 9 to 10 month season. So
okay,
I've got
because
plenty of time.
Fortnite does seasons also, and their seasons are like 30 days long or something. They're in season 3 now.
So that sounds like Overwatch seasons are really short too.
They are really short. I kind of prefer longer seasons to shorter seasons, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, speaking of Fortnite, mainstream League of Legends, Night Blue 3, he actually, quote-unquote, quit League of Legends to become a main Fortnite player. But he's still going to play a little bit of League, but it's like...
But he's switching his main.
He's switching to Fortnite.
Damn. It's
even though that game
a fucking phenomenon.
Even though that game is just so casual.
We'll see if it has legs. Pokemon Go was a summer, about a year. We'll see if it has legs.
Thanks, Cal.
Caldane says, yeah, don't worry, Cal. You'll always be trashing him.
Perfect. I'll just jump on your back next time I see you.
I have a legit question. Have you been sick?
I have, actually.
Okay, because your voice is, super raspy.
Yeah,
you sound like a blues singer.
I was sick all weekend, too, so there's that. That's probably why I'm...
Not drunk sick.
No, not like...
not party sick.
I didn't have a fever or anything. It was more allergies.
Yeah.
It just says, yeah, how the fuck am I...
That's the only time I'll touch you. It's just...
no, it was allergies.
It just says, how the fuck am I supposed to get my John Wick skin when they only give me like a month? Yeah.
I don't...
Because when you buy your battle pass for the season, and then as you ascend level, you unlock new skins and stuff in Fortnite, and John Wick is one of the skins.
You have to buy a battle pass?
Yeah.
How much is that?
Fuck. What's the minimum battle pass? Is it $5 for the season?
And what does the battle pass do?
The battle pass allows you to, so you can play Fortnite for free and gain experience and level and get the free things every few levels and be part of the leaderboard. But the battle pass that you pay for every season allows you to unlock new skins and gear and shit as you go. So if you can play the game for free, but if you're into cosmetics, you have to pay.
You have to be level 100 to get that John Wick skin.
Oh, that's bad. I'm not even close. Yeah, I didn't like that. What have you been playing, Lauren?
I've been trying to play Monster Hunter, but
yeah, I saw you stream it.
I tried
yesterday.
Yeah, I fucking tried. I don't know what happened, but I was 45 minutes in. I had 5 to 6 viewers, which was high for me.
It was great.
And then it's audio only.
Oh, it just went audio only?
Game guy was the last person. He was by the way, you're a podcast right now. And I'm I'm gonna fucking see what's going on.
Was it, could you diagnose what the problem was? It's not your internet.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Game guy and I are gonna hopefully work on it later, so.
Hey, Livic! What's up, dude? Hey, Wolf! Welcome!
Wolfie and Goosey are here.
They are. Let's see, the last week, I've been playing Fortnite a little bit off stream. We've been still playing a shitload of PUBG Squad during the week, and I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins still, which is super fun. This morning I played Sonic Adventure from the Dreamcast.
Pretty fun, huh?
Yeah, it is fun, but it's... someone mentioned earlier today when I was playing that this is why voice acting in Sonic games should never be, and it's super fun. It's like Tails is always like, wow, like everything, no matter what he's saying, I'm gonna go to the store. And then Knuckles is deadpan no matter what, like,
Daria.
The place is on fire. I guess I'll have to help Sonic. He looks like he's about to die. And so it's a blast. It's a damn blast is what it
That
is.
sounds good to me.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the Tomb Raider franchise, and we're going to start with the most recent film. So if you've seen the movie, pipe in. We're going to just talk about the whole film, so if you don't want to know anything about this film at all, just like come back in about 10 minutes. So,
10 minutes?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe longer than that.
You realize the majority of the time... Okay, I'm usually the positive reviewer. Calvin's usually the negative reviewer. It's just usually how it goes. A lot of head bashing.
Hey.
I'm not saying...
Did you just say I'm a negative guy over here?
No, I'm saying majority of the time you give negative reviews.
You're tough to you're hard on the movies we review.
Yes.
I am hard
Tough
to
to
please.
please.
That's
You're
what
very
Tough to please.
I am
Tough.
tough to please.
Except
You're tough reviewer.
I think Kingsman was flipped. Cal liked it.
No.
The second Kingsman,
No.
because
I've never
we
heard
were
a
ragging on it.
positive review from Calvin.
He gave it a positive parking lot review. For
I thought
sure.
it was entertaining, but I didn't say it was good via like anything else.
Huh. Well, either way, by the time I see it, I'll have spoilers already lay it on me.
JB.
He's very
no,
Cal
sir.
content. Game guy played the game. Is that enough? Yeah, that is enough. And we're going to talk about the games too. Like it's all here. It just loved it as a whole. So we will start there. Cal,
Yes.
what'd you think of the film? The recent film, Tomb Raider 2018.
2018. Well, I thought it was a reasonable start, but a failure in the end.
Okay.
Okay.
And why is that?
Well, it's because they decided to look at Indiana Jones' Last Crusade and get a female and say, you want to know what we're going to do is we're going to try and carbon copy a lot of things about a movie, and then we're gonna change it, made a female lead, we're gonna add booby traps, and we're gonna be like, oh wait, there's a thing in the end. And it's so similar to Last Crusade and making a female Indiana Jones. Not that I'm opposed to it, but like they tried way too hard. They tried way too damn hard.
But it's just Tomb Raider.
I know, but it's like they took so much from. If you go back and watch some of those older movies, it takes so much from like Indiana Jones. It's not even funny.
Okay, so your problem is not the gender of the protagonist. You just thought the film itself. I'm trying to figure out exactly what you're saying. That your problem is that it borrowed so much. It borrowed so much from
A different
classic
franchise.
films and a different franchise.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to drill down to that for a second. Lauren, what about you?
I liked it. I thought that in comparison to the Tomb Raider, I guess the 2014 when the PlayStation first came out, the first new edition that came out, I thought it was great. Because they used a lot of the game mechanics, they used a lot of the cutscenes, the similar.
They
reshot.
They reshot some
and it looked like the game.
The reason she's saying it like this is she said I liked that when we were walking out. She's like, I like that they used cutscenes from the game, and I thought she meant that they had.
I didn't play that game though. So.
Cutscene. Yeah, it follows very close to
closely.
the reboot of Tomb Raider.
Right.
So. Yes, so they
I only clarified
yes.
because they used the scenes from
Good night, Gal.
majority of the video game.
Chime in, idiots. She says, LMAO, what? Fire away.
And I really enjoyed it just because I'd already played the game and now I'm seeing it in a movie form. So to me, it was very entertaining. I do see your point about the Indiana Jones comparison.
The only thing that I got
played the game.
in the comparison to Indiana Jones, because it's a movie and a game franchise all about raiding tombs.
Yeah.
And the Indiana Jones films had some tomb raiding in it as well.
Yeah.
Uncharted is going to have. Uncharted was very inspired by Indiana Jones, like heavily inspired by Indiana Jones.
Right.
So all of that taken with sort of those grains of salt, right? The only thing that I got was from the Last Crusade, I think, specifically, was they talked about having to cross like the chasm. Except in the Last Crusade, it was like invisible.
Well, it was that, but it was like that in the trials. Like all of them were different trials. And in the Last Crusade, they were all separate trials to get to the Grail.
But
Right, that's all. That's the whole point of the games, though. And even the same thing with Uncharted is that you go through those.
It just I'm saying it felt like like almost shot for shot. Yeah.
And this is sort of what my point is. Kaldane says, the entire Tomb Raider franchise kind of borrowed from Indiana Jones from the get-go. Yeah. And again, same thing with Uncharted. So that didn't bother me. Like I was expecting a bit of that. Actually, the film was to me a little less on the. So okay, the games when they rebooted and what this film is based on is a little further back from the Indiana Jones like spectrum, and a little more in what the other half of Uncharted is, and we'll get to the game and stuff in a little bit. But so for me, I liked the film. Overall, I thought it was pretty well shot. It was pretty well acted.
It was okay. Yeah.
There are a couple of people that did not do well, but I thought Alicia did great, and the dude that went with her, like Lou Ren. I thought he was awesome.
They could have done without the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Her dad was not great. So yeah, the setup.
They could have done without the first 30 minutes of the movie.
I think that for people who haven't played the video games, who don't really know like the whole Croft thing, it's a nice setup just because she's trying to tell you, I'm not like my family. Like, my family is a well-to-do family with all this money, and I'm not going to take that because I have not deserved it. I've not made that money, so I'm not taking it. I liked it because I'm kind of in that situation.
So sort of the whole movie for me, and this sort of goes with it, is that I feel like they did some cool stuff, and they could have done a few things to make it actually amazing, though. Yeah. Overall, I will probably forget most of the film, but, like, I totally liked my time there. It just says, but also when it comes to games or movies, when someone is out hunting down some artifact with mysterious origins, they're all going to be comparable. That's true. So, yeah, I think they should have, maybe they could have edited the build up, but I like character building. It's part of the reason why I love the Power Rangers movie, even though you hated it, was if you spend, 90% or 85% of the movie on character building, I'm usually happy. Because that's what I like. So I liked the intro. Could have been edited a little bit, so I'll give you that. Mm-hmm. There were a few things so this is sort of the quick synopsis of the film, is it follows the video game reboot very well. Lara's dad's dead. She decides she's going to go find him. That's actually not in the game. In the game, she's just out on her first adventure. Yeah. But I
like the reasoning behind it.
The film's reasoning is better. She wants to go find out what happened to her dad.
She has no idea he's a treasure hunter or artifact, anything.
And that's where I thought there was kind of a couple flaws though with that.
Which part?
That whole storyline, because especially your dad's been gone for 5 years, and you have access, regardless of not to wealth or not, but you could have access to a better life.
Yeah.
Even if it's better, you send over something like whatever. Okay, great. Well, set yourself up for success, and then all of a sudden...
Oh, you just thought it was stupid that she didn't sign the papers.
Absolutely, because as soon as before you sign this, here's the magic key, and they're like, oh shit, there's a magic key. What does this go to? I remember shit. Like, it was just so dumb. Like, I could have done this 5 years ago. Like,
she didn't go to sign the papers 5 years ago. She didn't want the money.
No, because she was just an imbecile. She was a stubborn brat.
But that's not how it is.
And part of it was not wanting to admit that her dad was dead, because when you
she was
signed
lying to herself because her dad's been gone.
Her dad
that's a character arc.
But her dad wasn't dead.
But that's where the change has to go, right? Where she's like, so I don't want to admit that my dad is dead, so I'm not going to sign these papers.
But that's also silly, because at the same time, you'd have a legal guardian that would make you sign the papers. So in that idealistic view, wouldn't that not be right?
I don't know. I don't know about UK's laws.
It's Britain.
I don't think that's...
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Applicable.
I don't know if she's a kid.
Still have a legal guardian, because she's under the age of 18.
I have no idea. That seems a very strange and specific. That seems an unusual.
I think about it realistically.
Right.
It's realistic.
Realistically, yes, you're right. But I agree with Stephen in the fact that here, absolutely, she would be given a guardian, and that guardian would be like, okay.
Laura, why you be rich? Yeah.
But in the UK, laws and regulations might be different, which is why it's been 7 years. and she still refuses to sign the papers.
So if she's like, if she's 25 in the movie, she'd have been 18.
No, she was just in denial.
Anyway,
that's the thing. She was just in denial, even if
it just like the flashback. We're gonna keep pushing through here. Okay. Not trying to silence you, but
that's fine.
Okay.
And just to clarify, Game Guy was like, "That's bad branding because you had the glass on the table, but it wasn't facing the camera." So I put the glass on the ground.
That's why he called you a saboteur. Gotcha. Yeah. So it just says that she liked the flashbacks because it explains her skills. So her dad leaves frequently to go on these business trips, and so she's left at home, and so she takes up archery, she does like gymnastics-y shit, and just, is sort of like filling time with all these skills that she's eventually going to end up needing to use. Sometimes money is the key to happiness. She was grieving with her dad. Yep. I'm with you on there. Game Guy says, I promise you, if my mom died and all I had to do was go down to the whatever and get a couple million or $1,000, I would get it immediately.
That is absolutely the truth.
I don't feel like I would. See, that's why I really resonate with Laura.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that would be the case because my stepdad is very well.
Could you accept, Calvin, that in this world, other people may behave differently than you? Is that a general tenet that you think you can understand?
I'm just looking at things in a realistic aspect.
So
realistically, I really would not, unless I was in dire straits. Now, granted, Laura was she still had her own place. She was still making enough money to live on her own, but the only thing she was struggling, but she was still able to do it herself, and that's the satisfaction that she wanted.
I can understand the concept of wanting to build your own life when you're living in the shadow of someone who's built like a giant company.
I mean, even when she walks up and he's like, courier's in the back, and she's like, I'm a courier, but I'm actually here to see Ann Miller, and he's like, yeah, you need an appointment, and she goes, oh, okay.
Lithic's moving out. Lithic, enjoy. Let me know how you like that 4x4 map.
Lithic, I'll be playing it later tonight and trying to stream it, just
cool.
So you know.
It just says, I resonate with Laura. My dad is my best friend. If he went off to a mysterious adventure with no proof that he died, I'd be at a loss. The last thing I'd do is focus on the paperwork.
Absolutely.
So.
7 years. There's a difference. 7, just...
There's no proof. There was no proof.
I don't want to get too hung up on this because it's you didn't really buy it because you can't understand how someone would feel that way. Is the long and short of it, is that fair?
I understand how somebody, I just don't realistically, all right, well, your dad's literally not showing back up and you have opportunity to do...
So how long would you wait?
How long would I wait?
Yeah.
When somebody tells me that I have to take control of something, I would sign it when I had to.
So,
I would,
so let's
and then if I find out he was alive later,
if someone told me that the death of my parents would give me a company and millions of dollars, I might help usher him out. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Anyway. Okay, so moving on. So she decides to take on, figure out what happened to her dad. She goes and enlists help. They wash him on the island. Similar beats to the game, but a little different. In the game, it's just like, she's just an adventurer, and she's decided that she's going to go now. Her dad's dead, and again, they wash up.
I did not like it was like flirty friendly between Lou Ren and Lara Croft. I thought that was too much. It was supposed to be friendly, but I don't know.
As someone who like flirts with his friends all the time.
Thank you.
Like, I feel like, and you are welcome, you dapper young man. I get I did not want them to get together. I did not want them to share a kiss after the film. But in the act where he's like,
they set it up for a second movie. I feel like if they make a second movie, something's going to happen where they're not friends anymore because of weird tension and all that bullshit.
If, again, rather than sort of force people together, because that's not, the movie's not about them.
Yeah.
It's about her and her dad. And so that's where the relationship arc goes, right? The second film, if they make that relationship a part of the theme of the film, I can see it happening. I just don't like people jammed together because they're the only single people in the movie. So that drives me nuts. So I was fine with that. But I was also fine with them being like silly with each other on the boat. You know what I mean?
I like Idgits.
You don't buy it, Calvin, because you've never been loved. 2018. Colleen's opening up on you, Cal. Wow. The only thing I really didn't like about Lou Ren was the fact that he was a pro with that gun without explanation. Give me a flashback.
I like that explanation.
I don't know.
I think that
probably part of the triad.
I'm really. I mean, that might have been a cool back. Well, no, he had a gun because he gets drunk and he's practicing shooting people on his boat.
Yeah.
There's your
flashback.
It is Idgits. I don't know. I also hesitate for flashbacks for reasoning, and like I don't want to overuse those.
I don't necessarily think there should have been a flashback, but I do think I agree. There should have been some reasoning as to why the hell he was so good with a gun.
Yeah, no, I know. I was kidding about the gun thing mostly, but so in the game, Matthias is. You don't realize he's sort of working for the bad guy until later in the game. He's sort of helping you along. In this, right off the bat, he's just like,
he is the bad guy.
And here, did you guys buy his motivation? Because Matthias, he didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit about what was in the thing. He didn't give a shit about Laura. He didn't really give a shit about her dad. He just wanted to go the fuck home. He'd been there for 7 years, and he'll do whatever he fucking can to go home.
I think the progression... Absolutely. Like, after 7 years, yeah, you don't give a fuck about anybody.
I would have just told, like, I mean, you're trapped there for 7 years. Like, you could have just done nothing, and, you know, nothing would have happened either way. I don't know.
Like so they won't come get him until he, gets the thing.
Then you lie.
So you I fucking found it, and then when the chopper gets there, just be like, I'm going home.
Laura
Yeah, no, you just mow him down with guns, and then you take the fucking chopper.
So I totally bought the villain wholesale. Like, I thought this was, the performance was sort of hit and miss. It wasn't consistently great, but he was scary enough. Like, he would just shoot dudes, like, you're pissing me off. And he wasn't a big monologue, like, kind of villain. He just tried to shoot you and tried to kill you. All he had to do was sign the paperwork. Calvin is the moving along?
I think...
Moving along guy.
I feel like the money was the initial motivation, or he wouldn't have gone in the first place. But the second is the fact that he's been stuck there for 7 years, and it starts to eat at you. Like, I have not fucking accomplished this, and it's eating at me.
And that's a good villain to me, because it makes I agree with him. Not really agree with him and like
shooting people.
Not that, but just like I totally
malicious. Get it. There was no point in all the death. There's no point in him just shooting people.
Well,
you're not working. Oh, he was coughing and fell. He's trying to breathe. Oh, time to die.
But yeah, but this is the thing is that 7 years of essential isolation leading him to a psychosis makes a bit of sense to me, as opposed to I'm just real mean and get my jollies shooting folks. So I thought that was like to me, I bought the villain.
Well, even in the comparison with her father later, her father's like, it's just a hallucination. It will go away.
Right, yeah, they're both crazy.
So, at least with her father, he still had the moral compass of, I don't want to do this because everyone will die.
Yeah.
I've done the research. I know what's going to happen. Whereas Matthias was like, hey, I'm going to get paid after this. I don't fucking care what they're going to do with whatever it is.
But see, my question also then with that is why the mercenaries have blind loyalty to a crazy man.
Yeah, so mercenaries probably super paid and kind of crazy, like those, like BlackRock or whatever.
I just felt a little extreme.
Well, but at the same time, granted, this is after the progression, so I don't know about the in-between part, but he would fucking shoot anybody. So what's not to say that, hey, Matthias, I don't think this is working for me.
Oh, so it's a combination of money and fear of your boss being kind of insane?
Big old crazy dude. I ain't gonna fuck with him.
That's why JV gave me a cavity search before I came into his house. And the neighbors were looking at us weird. Because Game Guy wants to get drunk and be gunny. Or something. I think that's what I read out there. Maybe I read that wrong. Anyway, so Laura gets there, immediately captured. Similar to the game, she's trying to... So in the original Tomb Raider games, she's super rich and she goes around finding artifacts, Indiana Jones-ish.
Right.
In the Tomb Raider reboot in this movie, she's not super interested in the artifacts. She's more interested in finding her dad. But when she gets there, it's survival. And so that we'll talk about the games in a little bit, but she's now just trying to survive. So it's not the first chunk of the movie doesn't have the tomb in it. It's just survival, and that's what the reboot is focused on as well. So the thing that I liked, and again, this was one of those things where it was like it was almost there and not quite. I liked it and I thought it was good, but it didn't get to that next step, was the scene where she's hiding from the mercenary who finds her. And I like that the mercenaries are not dumb idiots. Like, they're pretty good at their job, except for some reason Lou Ren is really good with an AR. but they don't tend to do stupid shit. They just are.
Yeah.
And in the case of this mercenary, he's pretty good. He actually tracks her down. And then she has to fight him, and she drowns him. And that scene was brutal as shit. And when she's done and she like gets off of him,
shakes
I'm
because
like,
she's not accustomed to it.
it's the first time she's had to kill anybody. And so I was right there, and I was like, holy shit, that was a fucking great scene. Mm-hmm. But then she goes, Dad? And then sort of wanders off, and I was like, oh, damn it. I needed like 5 more seconds of that scene or something before she transitions.
Yeah, who's this random stranger in the woods? Let's go chase him down while I'm bleeding from the arms.
Right.
And,
So, but again, it was a good and effective scene. It just you were so close to hit me really hard.
Yeah.
Chad's talking about cavity search, which is good. Okay, so she finds her dad. Her dad is not in the game, but it does take place on the island of Yamatai and the Himiko thing. The games all utilize the supernatural. Like, oh, there's magical shit. There's, blah, blah, blah. The movie, though, curbs that into something actually real. Did you like that, or would you have rather seen, like, oh, yeah, it was magic?
I liked that it was scientific. I mean, I liked that it was sciencey.
I mean, it was... It's still a little out there,
it is,
but...
But at the same time, it's like, okay, that's legit. It's kind of like it's kind of like The Walking Dead, where, and if you haven't seen it, sorry, spoiler, but if you die, you're a zombie. If you get bitten, you're a zombie. It's a virus. Right. It happens. And
they try to anchor it in some sort of reality. What did you think then about the magic was a disease?
I liked it. You like that? Mean, for that aspect, I liked it because, back then they wouldn't have known that, and they didn't have the science for it, so... they had to.
Curses.
They thought it was a curse. Now, do I like the way they did that idea of the story? Yes.
Yeah, and sort of I did sort of feel that way with the video game. Now that it's as mentioning it is like the game was like almost there. I didn't quite connect with the characters, but I almost did, and so I.
So in the game, was it magic or was it?
It was straight magic.
It was all magic. It was, in my opinion, it was kind of like Mortal Kombat with Raiden the Thunder.
Yeah.
One of the bosses, blue eyes, had the hat. I was like, why am I fighting Raiden?
It's about like the soul of Himiko inhabiting new people and having like the power over death or something like that.
So it's actually like
it's just straight up magic and evil.
Well, that's weird that they would change that entire idea.
I think this is something that I appreciate. This is something I appreciated about the Nolan Batman movies is that they weren't always successful, but for the most part what they want to do is try to make it as realistic as possible and at least anchor it in some kind of reality, so I did like that in the film.
And I think that's why Ledger's Batman was so psychologically...
Or Ledger's Joker?
Yeah. What did I say?
Batman.
Oh, that's what I meant. Ledger's Joker was so psychologically resonating with a lot of people. Like, a lot of people still believe that he's the best, and I'm not going to argue that, but... because psychologically you could relate to him, and I think that's why a lot of people really liked Nolan's.
Interesting. So the film, her dad sacrifices himself for the the good of everyone, which is what he's been trying to do all along. She now knows for a fact that he's actually dead, not coming back, and it's come towards that. But she manages to sort of rebuild. Not rebuild, but she gets her closure, right?
I think so.
I don't. I think
no.
Here's my problem.
Because she reconnected with her dad, and her dad dies again.
But this time she knows.
Well, she knows he's officially dead. Great, but then she's just sad as fuck again, and now she's got to sign some paperwork. So now she's rich and sad as fuck again.
See,
so,
but it's
like, oh great, now I got the money, and I know.
We're talking about. It's actually in the title of the stream. We're talking about Tomb Raider.
I guess for me, it's like before she was sad because she didn't know where he was, or if he was dead.
So now that he knows his body's exploded and melted and everything, now she's happy enough to sign a paper to get money.
No, here's the thing. Because back then it was up in the air. It was almost like to her, he didn't want to come back to her. That emotional like breaking was awful. And then she rekindles that friendship and that relationship, but then he sacrifices himself for her to prove to her how much he loved her and wanted to be with her. And in the end...
Did he? Because he didn't have to do that, right? Like, he could have just set off those
It's not about...
charges.
He didn't sacrifice himself to show how much he loved her. He did that because he was infected.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
He was.
but-
It was not because of that. No, he was like, I'm infected. Well, I can't
the
spread this
whole-
disease to the world, so I've got to
But
die.
the whole reason he wouldn't go back is because he was making sure that she would survive. That was the whole point of his.
He had a so this is sort of the conflict, is that he had this concept of the greater good being like, I'm going to stay here and make sure they don't get it, because if they get it, she could be affected, but also everybody else could be affected.
Yeah.
And so that is sort of, again, they could have played that conflict a little more, where she was like, am I not more important to you than the rest of the world? I don't know. Maybe that's a little too layered for this kind of thing, but I might have been nice to see that, like him having to explain that, like to her, that no, the rest of the world is more important than you or something. Either way, going back and signing the papers, I didn't see it as a happy moment. It was the closure moment.
It was her.
I know that he's dead.
Aw. Hi, Bree.
Hey, Bree. Bree's in chat. Hello,
Aw.
Bree. Bree, you should be right somewhere around here. Right here.
Way to go.
But I have a glass that I'm sitting with Lauren.
Oh, what are you pointing at?
The set.
She would be sitting right there.
Yeah, I think that's right. Here, let's put a little Brie pillow. So,
I will say the one negative part that I did not like was when she shoves the finger plastic bag into his throat. Granted, he swallows it because you hear that, of him swallowing it, but it's still in the plastic bag.
Well,
Like
it would have taken longer or something
either
like that.
either she would have had to puncture the bag and then been infected.
that's what was the kicking of the face. That was
Was
the
it?
puncture of the bag.
See, I thought the kicking of the face was for her to swallow it.
No, it was to force the breaking of the finger and the powder inside the bag that was not fully closed to go inside his body.
She made him bite into it, so it punctured the bag. Oh,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But in my head, it didn't work in that sequence.
Yeah, but and that's one of those little technical things where it might sort of hit your suspension of disbelief a little bit. But hey, that's what we do, is we get technical about stupid nitpicky shit around here.
I'm not Calvin.
Right, Mark? We're gonna need you, Mark, for the next Jurassic Park film too. Okay, so into the film, she. And this is something that bothered me.
You got shade by Game Guy.
When you're gonna take Calvin's place. What was I saying? Oh, this is something that annoyed me.
Enjoys you.
That makes one of y'all.
Yeah. The marketing material, I hate it when the trailers have the literal final scene of the film in the trailer. I hate it. Because in the trailer, it shows the part where she goes and she gets her, like, iconic double pistols.
Oh.
Like, the last line of the film is, I'll take two. Tomb Raider. And that was, like, in the trailer. And I hate that.
I guess it's because I never watched the trailer, so.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, then, good. So, yeah, and this is the thing, is the iconic... So Laura's iconic weapons were the two pistols.
The double eagles.
She didn't have them at all.
And and the same thing with the first game is I don't think she gets them until the very end, maybe.
Very end.
But I don't even remember her using them in the second game, like in the second reboot. Or you know what I mean? Rise of the Tomb Raider? I don't remember that at all. But now sort of the iconic thing is the bow and the pickaxe. Like that's her ice pick thing. That's sort of what it's become now.
It's really interesting then. So do you want to talk about the first movie?
So yeah, let's do a quick now. Remind us about Jolie's
First
Tomb
off,
Raider.
in my personal opinion, as the look for Tomb Raider, I think the Lara Croft look, Angelina's look is way better.
You like Angelina's?
I do. I personally do.
I like the reboot better. Angelina looks like a gorgeous movie. Well, I mean, this is sort of, I guess this is just a difference in tone, right? Like Lara Croft.
I agree.
Lara Croft originally was the rich sort of movie star, elegant kind of, but also rough and tumble.
But that's because she has big old titties and a nice ass. Aesthetically, to the games, yes, she looks legitimate. With the newer games,
Alicia Vikander nails the Lara
down,
for sure.
I think she's the best Tomb Raider. She did all of her own stunts, all the scenes.
I did not know that.
All of the stunts. She's actually through all of the water scenes. It's actual water from like the ocean wherever they're shooting, and she turned blue a couple times because the water is so cold. and so she was hypothermic through some of it. And I think she's a fantastic actress, and I'm so glad that she got to do this film.
Yeah.
But
so
that also moves my opinion on this.
Right.
On this.
So
in total,
was the first Tomb Raider film. I remember watching the first one. I don't think I ever saw Cradle of Life. So if anybody has any thoughts on Cradle of Life, please throw them out there. But I remember the film being a silly action movie. But
it was a silly action movie, and she started off how, the idealistic Lara Croft should have been. She starts off with her dueling pistols.
Like she's already a seasoned treasure hunter.
Yeah. And she's very wealthy and rich and living the life.
She didn't give a shit about her dad.
No, I mean, she loved
fuck that guy.
No. And she references his dad in the movie because she goes back in time to see her dad.
That's right. And played by her Angelina Jolie's real life dad, Jon Voight.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that movie, to be honest, is crap.
Is it really?
It is crap.
The first one is crap?
In comparison, yes.
Okay. It just corrected me. She did most of her stunts, but there are 5 other doubles.
Okay,
but she did the majority of them.
So, yeah, in the first movie, the Jolie film, was more video gamey.
It was just,
right?
It was just like
it's just silly.
Just silly and campy and no real story.
James Bond is in it.
Yes, he is. And so it's not really like, it's very
Daniel
campy.
Craig?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll have to everybody's got their James Bond.
Everybody has
so
their
I
James
need that.
Bond, right.
I just needed that.
It was
clarified.
not Connery. It was Daniel Craig.
Sorry.
So, I mean, just in comparison to actual build up and story, I'll give the new Tomb Raider a better storyline in that idea. Mm-hmm. But, it's overall a better film than the first one.
Okay. And I'm going to show you guys now the games, basically. We're going to look at the evolution. So here we have, this is, by the way, TGN and Badass Gaming YouTube video, so shout out to them. This is the original Tomb Raider, 1996. It was released on PlayStation 1 and I believe the PC as well. I believe all the Tomb Raider games were started off Sony and PC. So they were PlayStation 1 and on the computer, and then eventually spread to Dreamcast, 360, and stuff like that. And we'll go through a few of the titles. But this is the original look of the original Tomb Raider on PS1. So the way that the game is done is it's like a third-person sort of platformer, sort of shoot-'em action, also puzzle-solving stuff. And if I remember right, it's hard as shit.
No, I never played them.
It's hard. It's like she sort of controls like a tank. She's kind of slow walking, but can do some acrobatic shit.
She must have unlimited ammo.
I think the ammo is unlimited.
She can jump real high. Holy hell.
But each level is exploring the tombs, going, finding the keys and putting the puzzles together and
so
finding
similar
artifacts.
to the ending of our...
Yes, and there's the conspiracies stuff with the... I think Trinity becomes a thing later on. Or maybe the Trinity's the first one. Thank you, Game Guy, for the cheer. The angles. Mark's booing visual content. The second one was noticeably worse, talking about the Jolie films. CinemaSins took on both of the Jolie films recently. Okay, so the first one was silly and bad, and the second one was even worse, apparently. But yeah, so there's some combat, but I remember playing Tomb Raider 2 and just having to use like a strategy guide because it was hard as shit. So, have you guys played, which of the Tomb Raider games have you guys played, if any of them?
The first one from PlayStation 4.
Okay, so you played the first, Tomb Raider, the reboot.
I've not played any of them, to be honest.
Okay, so Tomb Raider back then was really its own thing.
Is that a bear?
Yeah, it's a fucking bear. She kills a lot of animals in this game. Wolves,
I'm sure
bats,
PETA
tigers,
went like crazy on this fucking game.
Bears, T-Rexes. Yep. It's a wild ride, kids.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's no waypoints. It's just exploration and figuring shit out. So later on,
she's got like hella stamina. She's just running everywhere.
Oh yeah, running, climbing. Same thing with, like Nathan Drake and then the later games. She can hold on by her fingertips, forever.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. But that explains why
at
Kelsey's
least she
surprised
can't
that the
hold
movie
her
was
breath
Indiana
forever.
Jones-esque.
No, I don't think that's the reason. I just look at films and I've watched a lot of movies, and it just came across as very, very. Go rewatch The Last Crusade, and you tell me what you think. Okay.
And then this is 1996, and then they rebooted Tomb Raider in 2013, and we'll check that out here. And by the time we get here, and we'll talk about a few of the titles as we go, but what Tomb Raider is now is there's still the tombs and puzzles, but there is more focus on survival. So you have crafting. You can craft your tools, arrows, things like that. There's the climby puzzles that are more like Uncharted than they are like the traditional Tomb Raider. But it's all sort of survival-based, finding campfires, foraging for shit out in the wild. Also, in the reboot, this is Rise of the Tomb Raider, by the way. Actually, this is actually not 2013. This is they rebooted it in 2013, but this is Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think that was 16. I think it was 2016. Anyway, very more combat and stealth focused as well. There's a big stealth element in the games now that there weren't in the original Tomb Raider. So here we see her using poison arrows to kill the wolves. But don't worry, she's not gonna let it go to waste. She's gonna stick right in there and grab some wolfy shit. Right? So adding the stealth element really worked for me. I really love both of these games. I wish the stories they could do a few tweaks and make it amazing, but I really enjoy it. So, and just walks right through it like a robot. So, did you enjoy the Tomb Raider reboot that you played?
Yeah.
You did?
I really did. I really liked I felt like, especially because I played on PlayStation 1 a little bit of the
older Tomb Raiders?
And I was too young to really understand like the game dynamics, so I didn't get very far in it. But now as I'm older,
November 2015 is right.
I really enjoyed like the crafting element and everything that made it more realistic.
Right. So, Uncharted and Last of Us both have influenced Tomb Raider, and I think for the better. I really enjoy it. So the first Tomb Raider was actually remastered. It was re-released before the reboot as Tomb Raider Anniversary, and it was done with the engine that I think they used for Tomb Raider Legend. The Tomb Raider Legend was one of the. So I played Tomb Raider 2 originally, like as a kid, and then played. Like I tried to play a couple others, like on Dreamcast or whatever, and they didn't really stick with me. And then I played Tomb Raider Legend on the 360 when it came out. And that one was cool because it was about Excalibur, and you get to wield like the sword at the end, and it's got like magic powers and shit. So there's a lot more of the supernaturally shit.
So you're the king?
Infused into the. I don't remember what happens.
If you get Excalibur, you're the king.
With that. But that series, like Tomb Raider Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld, were pretty good. So, what would make you guys try out any of these games? Do you have any interest in playing like the rest of them are playing them?
I kind of want to replay my Tomb Raider. So.
Just the first one?
Yep.
I'd absolutely play it. I just don't own it.
Oh, okay. Is there something about the games that should be improved upon? Is there anything that you'd like to see in a Tomb Raider game? It's more for Lauren because Cal hasn't played one, but is there something that they could add to a Tomb Raider game that would make you want to play it? And is there something that you think they should add into the franchise? I
feel like they didn't do puzzles. Barely at all.
Okay, so more the
puzzles,
tombing...
More figuring out what you're supposed to be doing based on, like... Similar to the movie. Like, she studied the shit out of her father's work. Mm-hmm. And that allowed her... Yeah. And that allowed her to understand a little bit more of her father's side versus Metea's side. So, if if that was more of a game concept as well, I think I'd enjoy
like
it even
adding
more.
adding some research into doing more of the puzzly stuff, figuring stuff out in tombs, but also not maybe holding your hand a little less, where you have to like look through the research and do things because
You have to understand what you're doing.
right, yeah, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a bit. I would like to see I really just want the stories, like the character arcs, to be and other. I can't give a specific example other than just to be more solid, because I wanted like more of like a believable villain in the games, like that. I guess that's what I want then.
Unbelievable villain.
Like somebody who's just like, I want to take this ancient power and use it to enslave the world. Like someone where I'm like, oh yeah, like, I'm sorry, I have to stop you. You know what I mean?
We got cheered again.
Thanks for the cheer again, Mark. Cheer 11, Relevant Native. What's up? Mark says, I would like a game with more puzzles and less running, jumping, gunning. So I like the survival shit. Mm-hmm. Maybe make it a little bit more like if you get, like, you have to eat and get too cold, like more of those survival things.
Maybe.
JB wants a rich British bad guy. I think you need to play Far Cry.
Game Guy said I would stream them if I got them for free. He played the first one to a halfway point, but don't really care much for him. Or otherwise, don't really care much for him. Okay? And that's fair. That's fair. The Shadow of the Tomb Raider is announced for September of this year, I believe.
I'd play it.
And I want to see it. I'm down for. I hope that. They've been building her, I guess, across the trilogy, building her character. Okay. So I have Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I have the first one of the reboots. So
do you have them on your Xbox?
I do.
So I could come play it.
You could.
Perfect.
Will you?
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool. So yeah, if you want to get into the Tomb Raider series, where would you suggest they start? I'm gonna guess that at the reboot.
I like the reboot a lot better.
I've played a few of them, so I would suggest starting at the reboot, but going back and playing those harder games that are really fucking hard will be fun and valuable, but they're going to be a little frustrating because the controls are wonky and they're super old, but they're definitely worth your time. Especially Tomb Raider Anniversary, you can play on like the 360, I think, still, and PS3, and you get to fight a T-Rex, like first level, I think.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So that's pretty rad.
Sorry, I'm so not about that life.
About the T-Rex life, dude, all day. Don't tell JB that. He'll get upset.
I was going to say, you're all about that killing of the T-Rex.
Yeah, murking, dude.
Well, last thing that we do before we call it a night.
Let's hope it's a Game Guy one.
As we go to the can, this is the Gutter Nerds fan can. You can add questions to it by redeeming Nerd Cred, which is our loyalty system on Twitch. If you don't watch us on Twitch and you still want to add to the can, you can tweet us at Gutter Nerds using the hashtag FanCan. And we're going to each draw one, pull one out, just dig right in there, get your greasy mitts in there.
Get my grabber.
Grab a singular, one.
Guys.
Lauren, you start us off.
This one is, it may not be with the content. Why haven't you all joined the Good Noodle Gang yet? Like, seriously.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a good question.
I am a good noodle.
You are a good noodle.
I am a good noodle. I'm just
What about you, Cal? Why aren't you in the Discord?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody sent me a link.
What's wrong with me? I don't want to kill T-Rexes.
What's wrong with you?
You want T-Rexes to eat?
What you screaming for? Sorry.
You want T-Rexes
That's like Chris Tucker from Fifth Element.
So,
guys, there's the Discord link right there. If you want to go, the only thing you have to do is to be a good noodle is to want to be a good noodle. So this is the community that we affiliate with, by the way. Click the link, go to Discord, meet some other Twitch streamers, meet some other Twitch viewers. They're very positive. Oh, yeah. And hey, Shark! How's it going? And there is a noodle. Wait, I think I have to capitalize that. I think. Yeah.
Noodle.
And you can be a noodle nerd. Yeah. So go Go there. There's a Discord channel in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening, you can't see the link. But
glad you're not dead.
you can find the link to the Discord on my Twitch panel if you go to twitch.tv/gutternerds and scroll down. You'll see the little Discord button. Click that, and you're in. And you can meet some of the streamers. If you're a streamer yourself, you can network with other streamers and other viewers, and it's very, very worthwhile. They're super awesome. A little under the weather, not dead, says Shark. That's okay, Shark. We still love you.
I understand the under the weather. I'm there too.
Cal said you. What you got, Cal?
Which is cooler, Rapture or Columbia, and why?
This is a BioShock question. Rapture is the world from the first and second game, the underwater world. Okay. Columbia is the world from Infinite, which is the sky world.
I like Rapture.
You like Rapture? Rapture's, I mean, they're both oppressive as shit, but in different ways.
I just think Rapture, the idea of Rapture is just super fucking
an entire
cool.
underwater city.
Entire underwater city that flourished and did well until everything crazy happened. But I think it was awesome.
What do you think is cooler, Rapture or Columbia?
I loved Columbia.
Really?
I was a
freewheeling in the clouds.
I think majority of the reason I like Columbia better is because you were actually fighting people, not like the monster.
Not like monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at one point in time though, there was actual people there. That's the thing that what's coolest to me about Rapture.
Is that it's now no longer, but it once
it
was
flourished
a bustling city.
And did well until the outbreak.
And in Columbia though, it's still. I mean, they're assholes, but it's still populated.
Yep.
Like there's still people throwing parties and having.
I feel like it resonates so much with our culture now that I'm like, yeah.
The irony is Columbia is pretty much having a rapture because they're all the religious stuff going on.
Oh yeah. That's an interesting concept. I think that I think Rapture is cooler because. You can't leave either one because you can't just get away from Columbia and you can't just get away from Rapture. But to me, being surrounded by water at all times, being underwater is so terrifying.
Yeah.
And so I think that's pretty cool because if you break a window in Columbia, that's fine. Fuck, it's real windy. In Rapture, a crack in the wall, we are fucked. Mm-hmm. That's terrifying.
Well, I guess in response to that, if you continue on a sidewalk that ends, you're in the sky.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't watch your step, that's true. There is a terrifying aspect to that as well. It looks like chat with Mark, Just Gravy Baby, and Game Guy have gone with Rapture as well. Interesting.
I'm not the.
Interesting.
I'm always
anybody
the weird one.
into the Columbia.
I'm always the weird one. Come join the weird side.
Okay.
Last one.
If you could either become invisible at will or clone real Pokemon, who would your starter be?
No, I'd choose to be invisible.
I'm going with invisibility too.
Wow. They tried to throw a wrench in here, assuming that if you could clone real Pokemon, you would jump at that chance. So...
Because if that were the case, anybody who did clone
if
Pokemon,
there was real Pokemon,
I could be invisible and just go.
I don't need to be
Think how horrifying that would be. A fucking real Beedrill? Fuck that.
I have no functional reason to become invisible.
Yeah, you do.
There's
Where's somewhere you've always wanted to go but can't afford to go?
Nowhere?
You've never wanted to travel outside the country, but
Well, yeah, but I could go.
Let's go get a passport.
I'm not saying passport-wise, guys. Airplane tickets are fucking expensive. Hotel reservations are fucking expensive.
Okay, so explain the concept to me. So you're going to go invisible and sneak onto an airplane and remain invisible on the airplane the whole time to be able to go to... This is what I'm getting at. I don't think you could.
At will? Absolutely.
You would just hang out on the plane completely invisible. And then if someone came into the you just lock the bathroom door and leave it that way the whole flight?
Because, our bathroom must be out of order. That's always what happens when because there's multiple bathrooms on a plane.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that would.
Why would you want to go invisible?
Concerts. Oh my god, you'd save so much fucking money.
There's many reasons.
Okay. That's all right. But
there's many reasons for invisible. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
So you want to commit crimes is why you want to be invisible?
I could be rich.
He would sign that
Okay,
7-year
yeah.
contract.
I have no functional reason to
immediately.
go invisible, so I'd probably choose the Pokemon thing. So now let's say you are cloning a Pokemon. Let's just say for the sake of argument. You're going to clone a Pokemon. Who's your starter? Who you pick? Because I'm going to roll with Pikachu. Electricity is way too useful.
You're
To power all my shit.
a bitch.
Also, he's cute as fuck.
I'd be going, if we're using starters, I'd still be, like, the original starters.
No, you could clone any Pokemon.
Can you do that again, please? Sorry.
You clone any Pokemon you want. You're creating your own starter from any
Okay.
Pokemon.
No,
If-
that's, yeah,
if I
exactly.
could
Game Guy is
clone-
right. That is not a starter Pokemon. Well, it is on Pokemon Yellow, actually, Game Guy.
If I could
He's-
clone, my clone better not evolve.
If you could clone real Pokemon, yeah, we're not choosing. We're not choosing
not a
from
starter.
the starters. We're not choosing from the starters.
Oh, I
We're
am.
choosing a
I absolutely am.
clone to be your starting
Nope.
Pokemon.
I'm not
Cubone, says JB. Who would you clone?
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur. Why?
He's always been my favorite. Ivysaur is the best evolution in my opinion. Just love it.
But you don't want to evolve Bulbasaur?
Either Bulbasaur cannot evolve or Ivysaur cannot evolve. I do
Okay.
not want Venusaur.
Okay, no Venusaur.
It'd be Charmander, because he's a fucking
Charmander?
he's a fucking dragon, dude. He evolves into a dragon.
And would you evolve him?
Yes.
Charizard would fucking flame his ass every single day because Charizard does not listen.
Perfect. I don't listen to y'all either. See, it works out.
Listen.
It works out. Yeah, you're right.
Or Mew. JB says Mew. I mean, just get a cat and.
You get Meowth. for the-
Torchic says
That's
Idjits.
not bad.
Ralts or maybe Mew says Shark. They'd be helpful around the house. Game Guy says Mudkip all day, every day. What's Mudkip do?
He turns into a Mudkip is
Adorable. That's what Mudkip is.
I'm just
Just likes Mudkips. What's the fish that doesn't do shit?
that's Magikarp.
Magikarp. Yeah.
Because he turns into Gyarados. Another dragon.
I'd get a Magikarp and just put them in people's cars.
You would. You so would.
Mark says Charizard. He'd want a Charizard, which is totally fair.
Again, he won't fucking listen to y'all.
Guys, next week we're going to talk about
No, we're not.
games as a service and as a product. And if...
Like a service?
Mm-hmm.
Sexual. All right.
Yeah, so should games, and maybe it just depends on the title, but this is what we'll discuss. Do you prefer games as a product or a service, as in a one-time buy and you got that and there are no updates, or a subscription model,
Fuck that.
or continuous updates to the game? So we're going to talk about that. And next week we're having Raven One back as a guest. Daniel is going to come
Oh, perfect.
hang out and chat with us next week as well.
get to
He
see
did the game night with us.
Who's off?
Maybe no one.
You want 5 of us?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway,
Steven does what he wants.
I do.
Oh,
He's like Charizard.
We're just gonna figure. Yeah. Listen to shit.
No.
Isn't 5 too many people for a podcast? No, I say no. So thanks for coming by, guys. Last and finally, jumping back to the final question from our original starting question: would you recommend Tomb Raider, the 2018 film, to anyone / to Tomb Raider fans?
Sure.
It's enjoyable. It's entertaining. It's not a bad movie, but it's not like I loved it.
Okay, didn't love it, not a bad movie.
But I was
so,
entertained.
so you're, just people in general, you
Yeah,
would say,
the mass-
go check it out.
The mass people would like it.
Why not?
But I still think it's a, bad Indiana Jones clone.
What do you think, Lauren?
I liked it. I think it's a good movie to go see with your friends and to throw popcorn at your friends at.
I saw you throwing popcorn at Nerdez
popcorn.
while we were
She
there.
deserved it.
What'd she do?
She shushed me.
Oh.
When Bree was talking. Bree was talking.
And she shushed you?
I wasn't.
That's brilliant.
So you
Good job.
Probably deserved.
Yeah, so my only frustration really with the film was that it sort of could have been great and didn't quite get there. But if you're a Tomb Raider fan, I think you should absolutely go see it. And if you are an action movie fan, I think that you will find things to enjoy about it. I think
It's
it's
in the
worth a
second
shot.
half of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's character building in it too, so
Yeah, first.
there you go.
Calvin's always upset.
There will be a movie that I like. And
We'll find one.
I will be shocked. When that day comes,
do we
I
need
will
to-
be shocked.
So I don't have one scheduled, but do we need to
Yes.
do a Ready Player One thing?
I've already seen it.
Okay.
No.
Why?
I don't want to do it.
I want to do Super Trooper.
You want to do a whole show on Super Troopers 2?
Yes!
Oh,
It'd be my
man.
birthday show.
Do it, says Idiots. I have feelings. Well, we may have to do some little burst of something for RPO. It's a video game movie.
I watched
Actually,
it. I'll talk about
Peter
Ready
was
Player
surprised when we weren't doing Ready Player One over Tomb Raider. I'm like, Tomb Raider's actually a game series. She's like, yeah, but
Ready
it's
Player
a
One's-
video
yeah.
game movie.
Ready Player One's a video game. Basically, my thought process was that everyone else would be talking about Ready Player One, so I want to do something a little different. But we may have to address it sometime soon. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out. If you haven't yet, feel free to follow. Feel free to subscribe. We do have perks for subscribers on our Twitch channel, and if you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on iTunes or podcast services, check out twitch.tv/gutternerds, where you can interact with us live like everyone's been doing tonight.
Yay.
My name is Steven,
I'm Lauren.
I'm Calvin. Hello.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hello.
That's not how that works.